Hi, this is Danny Jewell. Hey, I've been studying farming methods, different kinds of irrigation for quite a long time. Machu Picchu made a big impression on me, and some other forms, and the idea of a biodome, a totally closed environment, energy flow, the whole thing. Well, here is what I have come up with, and I'm increasing the overall area of land usage by this method by as much as 35% or more, depending on how you use the cover over this, because as you see, using a V shape, well, let's say that you take a piece of land and let's do a 24 feet from 1 foot out past this, the canopy, and 1 foot out past this. Then that's raised on the outside. There's a row that's growing there, and there's a row that's growing here. I'm sorry, 2 foot on the outside for this overall 24-foot piece, and then 1 foot of growing area on the top terrace in here, which is 1 foot higher approximately than the ground level. And then you have 9 foot total depth here. We have 8 terraces, 9 including the top and 1 on the outside, so that's 10 rows terraced. And you have 1 path down one end and going all the way down to the other end, and 9 on this side going up a little bit above. And then the canopy can be made from a long hooped, was not real tight hooped or anything. You see the angle of it and stuff. Bamboo or PVC, and then use a plastic material which you can buy in rolls and stuff that's pretty wide over the top, and they will diffuse the light, and there's a great deal of light coming in because of the shape of it and the surrounding area, so it will pull in a little bit more light in the evening and such, and diffuse it in this. Not a lot, but a little bit, enough to be slightly significant. Okay, then you have what I would suggest, this area right here to grow vining. That way you can make use of the canopy over the top to from each side to go so far in for vining, because you're talking 24 feet, so you're about 20 feet on the canopy here. So you're about 18 feet at this point, and so 9 feet coming in from the side is a lot of vine room to come across to work with. So you can have vertical and horizontal planting and different rows. You wouldn't want to grow corn on the back row. You grow corn in the front row, and organize your rows of height, type of plant bushing and such, so that you can manage your rows, and later on possibly use automated equipment to plant and harvest and maintenance your V-shape crop field enclosure, your greenhouse. Now, so this would be this coming down the center, and it gives you, let's say, 9 feet on either side. Well, it doesn't take much with the 1 foot terraces, or you can make them 18 inches or whatever. Judge your terraces to the size that you would like. You're going to have a full amount of dirt underneath here for their growth, and they shouldn't impose on each other. The way, if the structure of the terraces are handled to where they hold each other, they don't bulge in and stuff, and you don't have to maintenance them all the time. And you can get worm growth, you can get good growth in here where you just have to loosen the dirt a little bit in each terrace row, and you can set if you want to work your terrace ahead of time, for drainage, for irrigation. Collecting the rainwater off of the top of this will need irrigation at this point, but you can run a small irrigation line down from here, perforated, to satisfy the water needs lower, deeper, further down. At the point at the bottom, I would recommend that about 1 foot depth of water cache and in using stone and stuff for your steps, and also water caching a little bit under your steps, controlling water flow around your and through your garden or farming V to manage that water as it didn't meet you, another place. So slowing down the water, irrigation, managing the water, caching the water with a single V shape. This is a permanent type of use structure design. So like the fields now are permanently plowed, and you're putting chemicals and all that kind of stuff in permanently all the way down the wall. In this here, you can use smaller equipment, and I have seen it in different concentrated farming on an acre and a half, intensive farming stuff. Seen the small equipment that they use for planting, for harvesting, and everything on these, and they're small and they're easy to automate. This lends itself to round shapes instead of square shapes so much. So imagine connecting the round end up and around and coming back down the next row with only having 4 feet of space in between each one of these for your path, and again, the growth from each one of them, whether it be a bush or something like blueberry, raspberry, whatever on the outside, and trees such up here. But managing that property, then you're using very little space to do any of your traffic or design work for it. You're maximizing your area of use for your planting and your production. And it's a significant amount. I'm serious. Do the numbers, 35% or more. Depends on how you make use of the vertical and the canopy portion. Anyway, so the V shape is in the ground. I would recommend deciding whether you were going to do it in line with parallel or in series with the sun's rising and falling. For your plants, how you might want to do that. Experiment. I haven't experimented with that, but you can get good diffusing in the upper plastic. You may not have to worry too much about the intensity of the sun. And the maintenance of the cover, you can look at the cheapness of this. What have we used to build this with? Just the ribs going across the top, and then plastic. Now the ribs can be bamboo. You can harvest that yourself. You can do one of these certain length at a time. For instance, do a 24 by 30 area, and then again next time do another 24 by 30 area, working on expanding your crop area to test the amount of significant growth. And another thing that this allows you to do is to use aquaponics method, combining the two for irrigation, for growing fish, for fertilizer, for the total circulation of this area, and maintaining the environment, containing the environment, to cut down the pesticides, cut down on dry season, wet season, and such. If these are planned and done properly, then they should be able to weather any season and be able to control irrigation, control flooding, control each thing on a scale that there should not be any flooding of these or any problems with these anywhere. Showing the lower section, this is if you were looking at an overhead view instead of an in view like the last one. And out here is the drainage irrigation part where you can allow energy is going to take its shortest path. So you give water at something what they call a French drain, but it's just a big filter made of large rocks, small rocks, and such, so that it gets down to where water will go inside and travel from place to place easier than through the dirt. The same thing with the walkway and the other side. And this here would be some, like if you had some stones to step on in between I wouldn't say put them this close, but step in between to get into the different areas from a walkway. And you're not going to be that far. I mean, it's like 8 or 9 feet. It's like only part of the way across a 10-foot room. So it's not that big a stretch. You probably take one or two steps, on the lower two, and you're there. That would be the top. I would say layer the bottom portion so that you have the different size gravel and sand and such to filter and to maintain a water cache in the bottom. And the hoop would go down into the irrigation area. The way it would be designed would be so that the side section where the hoop sticks into would not change, but the top section could stick down in it and can be replaced easily and maintained easily and cheaply. And my math up here is that let's say that you have 24 foot across of area that you're using, and you have 20 rows, which we do. We have 20 rows. That's 85% of that area used. Currently in our fields, we have a row in between every row. We're only using 50% of our land, the way we can use it. And that's a tremendous jump. We could slowly move into this type of farming on a smaller scale on many farms, and gradually move up into a full-scale farming in these methods, and automating those systems so that a process can be constantly upgraded, maintained for control of the environment, and just like this, in any way we wanted to take and do it, and make efficient use of the land and increase the production. And that's just from the increase in the land usage, but then the increased production also from the environment, the ability to control that environment. We can keep small animals down here. They can be pest control. We can grow insects to be pest control. Can grow around here. In the aquaponics system, we can bring fish through here and expose them to an environment down here and filter the water. We can take and we'll be generating a climate-controlled, moisture-controlled environment and move air through it. We can use natural, organic methods to do airflow, force air flow through here at a faster than a normal rate. There's a number of things we could do, and what I'm considering doing on my mini farm, the very first one, is to do exactly that. I'm going to do a 24 by, I think it's a 48. I'm going to go twice as long as wide, and start out with one, and then put it in a position on my property to manage it and extend it, growing trees for more shade in the outside areas, like in the center of the 4-foot section that's here between the two. There'll be about 2 foot left, but there'll be a staggered zigzag left and right room between the bush plants and stuff to put like empress trees, bamboo, new bamboo growth and stuff like that. And by the time I get done with the first one and get it operating, it should be easy to operate and should keep me on my toes, to keep someone managing it and growing on their toes, and it should bring in a pretty good profit and keep our market at that site going pretty strong with different products, with different kinds of production and harvest each year. Empress tree every 3, 4, 5 years, and some of the other plants that you know of, asparagus and other ones, have different harvests on different years. So with proper planning, it can be a really nice greenhouse, the ultimate greenhouse for a farm, for an individual, for a farm, small farm, and for large large farm industry. It allows for growth and maximum usage of the land, and control of the irrigation, the flooding, the environment, and allowing use of that. That's getting into the hybrid uses of the different energies that flow and move around this, and that I'm going to get into later on. But this, I just wanted to show you the Ultimate Green Farm V design, and the V-shaped design in ground. And you think, okay, well, I've got to dig 10 feet in the ground, 9 feet in the ground. No, because it's a mounding. You dig 4 to 5 feet in the ground, and you mound up the other layers to terrace to build your mound, like to enclose your dome. So you can get this all set up at ground level, and then you're going to build up quite a bit on top, another few rows on top. So you're only going down 4 or 5 feet, and then mounding your dirt up in between the two. Between this one and the next one, or just at the edge to do this. So you're building it up. So you're only going down, even though you're going this high, you're still only going down so far, and then mounting it up and building the ground level up on the outside for this. So it's not as hard as you think of at the beginning, and not that difficult. This is approximately 18 to 24 inches to whatever you decide walk path. And you only need one right straight down the middle. Don't need one coming up the other side. You can round it off at the other end or square it off. I would recommend rounding it off. And every time that you join one of these together, you've got rounded shapes to join them together to bring in the next one. And it gives you a heads up. You can make it so that you can start outside with your head above. By the time you get down into the inside, then your head's below, so you can change the angle, a little bit of the stair there and stuff. I got some play between the two, and it gives you the ability to run your piping or anything you want to shove into the ground or make down here. Well, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe. There's more to this, as you can see my notes. I keep working on them. I have another siphon design for biodigester that I'll be talking about on another one. Well, thank you.